Hello everybody and welcome to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman issue 6 by Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta and Frank Martin. Black Mask's reign on Gotham continues as the city erupts into chaos thanks to Roman Sionis handing out guns and masks to anyone and everyone who wants in on the party animals. While the streets burn, Waylon Jones sees to a break-in in his gym, only to find it's Bruce and he's badly hurt. On top of finding his beaten friend, he also finds out that he is the Batman. The casualness of this is really great, and unlike most identity reveals, which are usually like a big thing in an issue, it's like a big page spread of a character bursting into a room on a hero, halfway through dressing into their costume, or they see a picture of a character without their mask on or something like that. And I just like that Bruce just tells his friend, just kind of gets it out of the way just so they can get to help patching him up. Bruce going to Waylon is also a reminder in this universe. Bruce grew up with most of the people he would usually consider to be his rogues gallery, and Scott uses this to transition into one of Bruce's flashbacks, which we get throughout each of these 6 first issues, where Bruce is having a sleepover with all his new friends. The laughing soon comes to an end as Joe Chill turns up and kills Martha in front of the kids, causing Bruce to wake up from his nightmare with no friends in sight and only his mother to comfort him. I really like what this says about Bruce. He yearns for friends and family around him, wants to be, safe with them, but he can't ever have that because of the looming shadow of Batman and what Batman brings to his life. He did at one point have all of this, and we do see him shut himself off from everyone after his father's murder and kind of sort of try and open himself up a little bit more, but it's like a constant with Bruce, whether it be this universe or another universe. He wants a family and friends around, but he knows he can't and hides the fact that he wants that via Batman, using Batman as like, oh, I can't have them because if my identity was compromised, they would also be in trouble. Present, Jim Gordon keeps Martha safe as she checks out the party animal masks, finding that they have a system in them that rewards people for committing murder, assault, and various other crimes. Interestingly, Martha discovers Jim is a target, with $1 million bounty on his head because he is the mayor. Across town, Julia Pennyworth assures her wife that she is safe when the train she is on comes to a stop at a station and is boarded by the party animals, kidnap her, looking for an easy target. I'm surprised that coming to the end of the first arc, we actually getting something related to Alfred's daughter, being we got a little bit at the beginning of the first couple of issues and nothing really more. She didn't want anything to do with Alfred, and it seemed that he was kind of focusing on other things rather than her. I'm guessing this is to give Alfred some actual stakes in Black Mask's plan, since right now he technically doesn't have any skin in the game. He's just kind of along for the ride with Batman, as it were. He's just kind of there in the presence of what's going on. So I could see this as some sort of way to help give him a little bit more relevance to the plot that's going on. Above the city, Oswald pilots a small plane while he screams at Bruce, having learned that he is Batman. Turns out all of Bruce's friends now know that he's Batman, although it's not by Bruce's choice, as he wanted to keep it a secret because he's trying to protect them. Again, we get really cool tidbits of Bruce using all of his friends, who would usually be his rogues gallery, kind of like gadgets, or kind of like his bat computer in a way, as they all have different info on what's going on. They have like connections into the underworld, and we see him use this sort of stuff to help him get one over on Black Mask, as he uses the Riddler, which is the machine Edward built, to tell him that Roman's servers are too big to bring down, but the local servers could be crashed, and they are located on a boat, which Batman intends to sink. Much to the chagrin of Oswald, who, just wants to help a friend. He even says, Bruce doesn't outrightly say that he wants his help, but he's just there, wants to help him out, is planning on, circling the plane, even though he's out of fuel. He'll do what he can to help his friend, but Bruce has no intention on letting his friend actually help him. Jumping from the plane, and after a fantastic homage to the cover of The Dark Knight Returns, he lands directly on Roman's DJ, crushing him right into the deck of the boat. I have to keep reminding myself time and time again with this Batman that while he does not kill, he is not afraid to fuck a motherfucker up. And he does exactly that throughout this entire sequence. Not only does he mess up the DJ, but also the weird little kid that Roman has been keeping around that we've seen in the background of some shots. And I love what he does with this kid. He literally punts her like a soccer ball off of the boat, proving Batman does not care what age you are. If you commit a crime, you are getting roughed effed up. Upon seeing the kid being booted into outer space, Roman's girlfriend jumps overboard, but Batman, like the others, is sure to give her a life preserver, not wanting her to die. Bruce's flashbacks return and we get a little bit more about the Waynes and how so unlike their main universe counterparts they are. They're like the complete opposite, whereas they are like rich billionaires. This Thomas was once a long-haired, goatee sporting member of a grunge band called The Movements. This is all couched in Martha kind of going through an old photo album, you know, seeing photos of her and her husband when they were younger, Bruce's first steps when he was a baby, and she finds a photo of Bruce and all his little friends, and they're all very happy, but Bruce doesn't like this image because this is the last photo his dad took the morning he was killed. It took it literally seconds, moments before all the gunfire and chaos of the zoo started, and it brings back too many hard memories for Bruce. In the present, Martha and Jim keep a bunch of gun-toting Gothamites at bay, but the men are angered thanks to Jim's inaction as mayor, and they think he needs to pay for what he has done to them. Martha very nearly convinces them to put the guns down thanks to Batman proving that Black Mask really wanted Gotham to burn and turn to chaos. But one party animal arrives with a mask, finding both Jim and Martha have $1 million bounty on them each, along with each Gothamite being worth about $10,000 each. I do really like the difference here where we have the party animals and they just want the chaos, they just want to commit all these crimes, and then you have these Gothamites who have finally been given like guns and things that they can use to help turn the tide in their favor. They want their own thing as well. They don't want to just kill, you know, Jim and Martha for money. They want to kill them for the inaction they think the government has been doing in Gotham, when really it's just been Black Mask messing with everyone from the beginning. So the idea of having all these different warring factions within the city at one time, kind of fighting all for the same thing, is really interesting. Out in Gotham Airport, Julia is brought onto a private plane where she finds the party animal who kidnapped her was actually her father Alfred, who is trying to get her out of the city before anything bad happens. Julia isn't relieved her father is there to rescue her though, knowing that he's only doing this to kind of cover his own ass, not wanting to actually care about his daughter or her well-being actually. And Julia seems to resent the fact that her father never took her on his quote-unquote adventures, as she would call them when she was younger, but after learning about what he actually did for work, she wants nothing to do with him, even going so far to say is that she doesn't actually have a father anymore. I said before we hadn't had much on Julia and Alfred, and I like how just in one page, Scott has done some excellent character development with them both and set them in this really interesting place where I guess both are going to start sort of developing with each other and sort of have this thing where they sort each other's problems out or something, kind of hash everything out. I would like a just like an Alfred-centric story in a future issue where we get to see a little bit of this Alfred's life, because it's so wildly different than what we usually get with Alfred. And I'd love to see like how his relationship with his daughter just deteriorated and how he's looking to try and fix that, because I think he is trying to actively fix that. He's still very much in work mode, but he does actually want to have a relationship with his daughter. Back on Black Mask's boat, the villain battles Batman across the deck and quite literally through it, telling Batman that he doesn't still get it, that he can't stop anything that's coming for him or for Gotham. Batman doesn't care for talk, smashing the villain with a bowling ball and then falling through the deck into Roman's secret room, the one that has the death masks of Falcone and Maroni that we saw back in issue 1. Roman actually manages to get one over on Batman, who kind of gets carried away, thinking he's winning the fight because Roman is on the back foot, literally under the hulking mass that is Batman and being beaten to a pulp. That's where the villain wants to be, as the distracted Batman has a garrote looped around his neck, and Roman pulls it tight around the Dark Knight's throat. As Bruce is strangled, he remembers what his mother told him about being hopeful, which is what she is when she looks at the pictures Bruce doesn't like to look at in that photo album. This is intercut with Black Mask telling him about the pigs and how he lied about how he liked how easy it was. He liked the struggle that the pigs went through and how they all hoped that the bolt that he would put through their heads would never come. He liked taking that hope from them, which is what he is doing to Gotham right now. Roman's mocking gives Bruce time to deploy another really fucking cool hidden gadget in the Batsuit, one we've never actually seen until now, where his bat ears aren't just detachable and turn into knives, they can actually rotate down and appear almost like bull horns, which Batman uses to fucking shove right into Roman's eye sockets. Every piece of new tech or gadget we've seen from Scott and Nick in these 6 issues has been a lot of fun, and completely unlike any bat gadget we've seen before, there's like a violence to these bat gadgets that we don't usually get with Batman. Like the bat ears that turn into bullhorns, that's like a violent weapon. There's no like less than lethal version of that, you know what I mean? Like if you charge someone with bullhorns, you're looking to hurt them. Surprisingly though, the bullhorns don't actually kill Roman though, they seemingly just blind him, and he seems really kind of chill about that. Like he screams and then just kind of calms down enough to tell Batman that he is now going to lose everything and everyone he loves since he started something he can't stop now. Like the other guys on the boat, Batman is quick to give him a life preserver and toss him overboard. As back in the city, the party animals actually find themselves in a moral quandary, as they don't want to kill a woman, deciding to let Martha go. She refuses to leave Jim alone, knowing the men are better than the party animals they are actually pretending to be. Batman meanwhile finds Black Mask's servers on the boat and blows them and the boat up, which luckily shuts down the Mask's computer systems, making the men realize that they're not going to make any big payday in killing Jim and Martha now. I really like Martha's response to this, as since the guys just think, oh, there's no money now, so everything's kind of just going to go back to normal now. It's like, oh, no hard feelings. However, she just cracks one of the guys in the face and knocks him out, and it works so well because it's a nice little bit of comedy there, but also it's her kind of overcoming this thing that has been trying to take the hope from her and her city. She and Jim have won against it. The entire sequence is also covered in this narration of Bruce and Martha talking about the pictures in the album and how proud Martha is of her son overcoming the hell he went through to find his friends and family again. And a really cool thing here is Martha is the one who instills in Bruce this idea that he makes himself even more determined and hopeful thanks to all of the pain he went through. And I like how over the last 6 issues we've seen him enact that time and time again as Batman. He's overcome so much in just these 6 issues. Speaking of Batman, he's rescued from the cold waters by Alfred, who decided to ditch his daughter, I guess now that she's in safety somewhere, he's able to come back and help out his friend as he arrives in a special submarine to help patch up his new friend for whatever lies ahead. And what lies ahead, it seems to be pretty horrific, as we get a little one-page tease of the Joker again like we did in issue 1. And here we see him recovering from something of some sort. He's like covered in like these weird growth fetus, something resembling a baby thing that he is seemingly drawing life from, and his skin turns from that pale bone white that Joker usually has to a more human looking skin color. It's more pink, very much like a disguise. Like we saw him in the first issue where he looked relatively normal, so this seems to be something that he has to kind of keep up a regime to kind of look normal, otherwise he turns into the Joker. It's really creepy, and it just makes me want to know more about this Joker, like what made him like this. Usually it's related to Batman, this time it's not. Joker is told by his version of Alfred that Roman Sionis failed in Gotham, something Joker is very well aware of, and he tells his butler to get Bane ready. This is such a really fun tease of what's to come, and the use of Joker being so sparse is also very refreshing. Usually, you know, a writer just immediately pulls the trigger on Joker and has him involved in any sort of story, yet here we've just got so little of him, and what we have gotten has been so different and new and fun and creepy, things Joker should be. So I can't wait to see what he is in his full reveal, I guess in a couple of issues. Absolute Batman issue 6 rounded out the Black Mask arc of Scott Snyder's book, and I gotta say, it fucking ruled. Every issue so far has been so refreshing to the Batman mythos, and how Scott deployed certain characters like Alfred and important events like what transition to turn Bruce into Batman was so fun and inventive. Now that we've got the quote-unquote origin out of the way, I can't wait to see Batman get involved in other bigger stories with even bigger villains, with the tease of Bane on the horizon, which has been teased by Scott to be even bigger than this Batman, which didn't think would be possible, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has in store for Bane. I am going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.